Hungarian parliament has backed a change to the constitution that limits a prime minister's term in office to 8 years, fulfilling a promise by Peter Magyar to prevent Viktor Orban becoming prime minister again. Orban led Hungary uninterrupted for 16 years until Magyar's Tisza party swept him from power in April's election, winning a two-thirds majority that gives it the power to amend the constitution.
The United Kingdom's Court of Appeal has upheld the government's decision to proscribe the activist group Palestine Action as a terrorist organisation, marking the latest chapter in a growing debate about the right to protest in Britain. Palestine Action, founded in 2020, describes itself as a direct action movement committed to disrupting companies and institutions it says are complicit in Israel's genocidal war on Gaza. Its activists have targeted weapons manufacturers and military facilities in the UK, mainly through acts of vandalism and property destruction. Wateen al-Ajrami was just more than a year old when the blast shook the simple storage room in northern Gaza's Jabalia that her extended family were sheltering in. Her mother, Mariam, explains that Wateen was standing next to a door at the moment of the Israeli strike in August last year.
Forcibly displaced families are returning to shattered towns and villages in southern Lebanon after the initial announcement of a ceasefire agreement between the United States and Iran. Months of cross-border fire and air raids have leveled homes, shops, and public buildings, leaving some neighborhoods barely recognizable. As word of the ceasefire filtered through, families who had been sheltering with relatives in schools or in crowded apartments in safer areas began making the journey back to see what remains of their property. India has blocked the Telegram messaging app until Monday and ordered the platform to disable the editing feature on messages already posted, saying the platform has been used to defraud candidates and for paper leaks regarding upcoming national student examinations. The restriction was issued on Tuesday under a stringent provision of the IT law, which empowers the government to block access to online sites in the interest of India's sovereignty and integrity.
The Ebola epidemic in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, has not yet peaked and could last for another year, the Red Cross has warned. The peak is, I think, not behind us, but in front of us. Bruno Michon, operations manager for the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, told reporters on Tuesday by video link from Eastern DRC. The Meron University Teachers Association, MUTIA, has criticised the federal budget 2026-27, saying it fails to address the financial requirements of higher education institutions across the country. In a statement issued on Monday, MUTIF President Dr. Nafiz Ahmed Memon and General Secretary Dr. Arshad Memon warned that the association could launch a protest campaign if its demands are not reflected in the budget.
Friends of Margalla Hills National Park, MHMP, has expressed concern over recent proceedings that appear to revisit the landmark judicial decisions that led to the removal of Monal Restaurant and other commercial structures from within the Margalla Hills National Park. The group noted that the Islamabad High Court's 2022 judgment and the Supreme Court's 2024 ruling represented a historic environmental victory for Pakistan.
Motorway police have banned uniformed personnel from seeking lifts from motorists on motorways and national highways, introducing a new administrative measure aimed at improving the image of Pakistan's road network. According to an official directive issued by Motorway Imran Shahid, personnel from all departments, including toll plaza staff, are no longer allowed to stop vehicles and request rides under any circumstances. Water and Sanitation Agency, WATSA, has cancelled the leave of all operational staff and officers to ensure uninterrupted services and effective arrangements during Muharram Haram. MD WASA directed directors of all towns to complete the cleaning of sewerage lines along procession routes and ensure the inspection of all manholes.
The Lahore Electric Supply Company, LESCO, has finalised special arrangements to ensure an uninterrupted power supply during Muharram ul Haram, with officials placed on high alert to support religious gatherings and processions. According to details, the Punjab government has assigned senior officers to special duties at the Central Control Room to oversee electricity operations during the holy month.
French psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan once said that the most tragic thing about masculinity was that it had a symbol. He didn't have He-Man in mind when he made this comment. He died in 1981, 2 years before the original cartoon's debut, but he might as well have. He was talking about the phallus, if you're wondering.
The number of foreign travellers visiting Cuba has plummeted since the beginning of the year amid tightened US sanctions. Figures released by Cuba's National Statistics Agency suggest fewer than 360,000 people visited the communist-run island in the first 5 months of 2026, a decrease of 58.4% compared to the same period last year, according to UNE.
The US-Iran Memorandum of Understanding, expected to be formally signed in Switzerland on Friday, could allow for the establishment of a $300 BN investment fund for Iran as part of a broader settlement to end the war that triggered a global energy crisis and upended markets worldwide. US Vice President J.D. Vance told CBS News on performance pageants in adhering to the deal, which was digitally signed by both sides on Sunday,
United States President Donald Trump has warned Iran that all hell will rain down if it tries to get a nuclear weapon, and has also rebuked Israel over its military offensive in Lebanon in unusually critical comments during his visit to a G7 summit in France. The ceasefire deal agreed with Iran would ensure the country can't have a nuclear weapon or they get blown up. Trump said on Tuesday before a bilateral meeting with Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani on the sidelines of the summit in Evian-les-Bains.
Who? Argentina versus Algeria. What? FIFA World Cup 2026 Group J. Match Kansas City Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. United States Tuesday, 8 p.m. 1G GMT on Wednesday. How to follow. Keep up with all updates on Al Jazeera Sport. We might be 6 days into World Cup 2026, but many purists feel the tournament isn't truly underway until the defending champions Argentina and their iconic star Lionel Messi take to the stage. SpaceX has agreed to acquire AI coding startup Cursor in a $60 billion stock deal, just a few days after the space company's historic IPO and less than 2 months after announcing a tie-up between the two. The deal is meant to help SpaceX's AI division, built around Elon Musk's AI company xAI, which SpaceX merged with earlier this year, catch up to the major AI labs. Despite being a centerpiece of its IPO promises, SpaceX's AI division has been in the midst of a restructuring after running into repeated controversies, like allowing users to generate non-consensual deepfakes of women and children.
How humans alloy metals is essentially the same today as it was in the Bronze Age. Melt some different metals in a pot and mix them until they form a new, better metal. An early-stage startup, Foundation Alloy, has developed a new alloying technique that beats the ingredients instead of melting them. India has issued an order to block Telegram until June 22 over concerns that fraudsters are using the messaging platform to target candidates ahead of a retest of the country's biggest entrance exam. The move was announced on Tuesday by India's National Testing Agency, which administers the National Eligibility Entrance Test, undergraduate UG, a medical college entrance exam taken by millions of students each year. The agency said the restrictions were aimed at preventing cheating networks from using Telegram to sell fake exam papers and spread misinformation before the June 21 retest of NEET.
Xbox is preparing to shut down or sell at least 3 of its game studios, according to reports from The Verge and Bloomberg. The studios named in the reports are Ninja Theory, Double Fine and Compulsion Games. Several other Xbox Game Studios teams are also reportedly negotiating for their future and remain at risk of closure.
The University of the Punjab has introduced a policy restricting PhD research on living eminent personalities, according to a notification issued by the university's Deputy Registrar, Academic. The decision was approved by the Advanced Studies and Research Board, ASRB, during its meeting held on May 11, 2026.
A recent analytical report published by the Durand Dispatch, Strategic Messaging, has examined the role of Al-Mirsad, describing it as part of a strategic communication apparatus linked to the Taliban authorities in Afghanistan. A 17-page study authored by Joey Moran analysed 137 English-language articles published between January 2025 and March 2026. It argues that Al-Mirsad operates not as an independent media outlet, but as a coordinated platform designed to influence international perceptions and advance political legitimacy.
Punjab Finance Minister Mian Mujtabar Rahman presented the provincial budget on Tuesday after the Cabinet approved a people-friendly $5.34 trillion budget for fiscal year 2026 to 27. Punjab Chief Minister Mariam Nawaz Sharif, provincial ministers and MPAs are attending the session.
Police in Poland are investigating the execution-style murder of a Russian artist and vocal critic of President Vladimir Putin. Polish prosecutors said Robert K., known as the artist Semyon Skrapecki, was shot dead on Monday morning in the Polish city of Biała Podlaska, about 40 kilometers, 25 miles from the Belarusian border.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has endorsed the political leadership of his Myanmar counterpart, Min Aung Hlaing, as the two met in Beijing to map out the future development of bilateral ties. Xi told Min Aung Hlaing at their meeting on Tuesday that he wanted to carry forward the brotherly friendship between our two peoples and deepen comprehensive strategic cooperation, according to Chinese state broadcaster CCTV. Australia's Weather Bureau has warned that an El Nino weather pattern has formed in the tropical Pacific and could intensify in the second half of the year, becoming one of the strongest in 7 decades. The Bureau of Meteorology said in a statement on Tuesday that sea surface temperatures in the region had exceeded El Nino thresholds, and atmospheric indicators also suggested the phenomenon has begun.
More than 3.5 years after ChatGPT's initial release, AI assistants are now used by millions of people worldwide, and the competitive landscape is changing fast. While OpenAI's chatbot is still the most popular assistant worldwide, globally, its market share has dipped below 50% for the first time as users are migrating between different assistants like Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, and xAI's Grok. According to analytics firm Sensor Tower's State of AI report for 2026, ChatGPT's growth has been impressive. It became the fastest app ever to reach 1 billion monthly users, as Sensor Tower reported this month. Notably, OpenAI counts weekly active users, and it last reported 900 million of them in February. The chatbot still remains the most popular AI assistant worldwide with over 1 billion monthly users, followed by Gemini with 662 million and Claude with 245 million.
Nearly 3 years after launching as a competitor to Twitter, now X, Threads has reached 500 million monthly active users, the company announced Tuesday. The Meta-owned social platform also announced a series of new features launching today, including a Your Algo tool that lets users control what they see in their feed. The new Your Algo feature builds on the platform's Dear Algo tool launched in February, which lets users tell Threads what they want to see more or less of in their feed by posting a public post such as, Dear Algo, show me more posts about podcasts. With the new Your Algo feature, users can privately control what they see in their feed without having to share a public post. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government has significantly increased Parent-Teacher Council (PTC) grants for public schools and approved a revised structure for fund distribution. The provincial cabinet approved the division of grants into 3 new categories to improve school facilities and management.
Lenovo has quietly launched a new pair of affordable open-ear wireless earbuds. The Lenovo TA410 has a starting price of only $14. The TA410 is not Lenovo's first entry into the open-ear earbuds market. The company has previously launched models such as the Lenovo EA350 and EA400.